Do you want to know why your revenue is down 10% month over month? Ask Operator. It will share with you all of the insights around different providers and their utilization rate, their rebooking. There's no detail it doesn't know now that this assistant lives inside of Podium's AI operating system.
I think AI is going to be, where we want to be in the future. And I think if you're not taking the time to learn, invest, and understand what it is, my sense is you'll be falling behind.
I remember texting Shannon and I was like, I actually feel like I have a partner in this. I feel like for the first time, we are going to really scale and move the needle because of just having the data so in front of me all the time. So I'm excited to jump into like specific examples of what that means because this is a disruptor.
Here are some of the insights that you should be, maybe some data points you should be aware of on a weekly basis, a daily basis. Can you share with me what mine are for last week, for last month? It is truly your best friend and AI assistant that can tell you anything about your practice you want to know.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Cam Hemphill here, your host of the Medical Millionaire Podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. Hey, my goal is to give incredible value and insight for practice owners. If you're looking to scale your practice, grow, understand everything that it takes in order to position yourself to just truly build enterprise value, you're going to hear about it from everybody that I have on these episodes. We've been producing this podcast for many years, and we've recently launched our YouTube channel, which I know that YouTube is powerful for me. In fact, I have now switched to YouTube on everything that I watch when I actually tune into the podcast in the morning. And so if you guys are interested, go check out the YouTube channel. I'm trying to get more subscribers over there, and so I can grow the channel, just give a ton of more value for it. It's just my name, at Cameron Hemphill. So go check it out, follow us. I'd love that. Today we have two guests on. I love having two guests at the same time because it creates a great dialogue and just a great story. And today we have Podium on, Shannon Blake. You guys know who she is. We've had her on the show before, a KOL, an industry impact leader, huge with AI and tech and where this whole world is going for aesthetics. And then we have Cortney Hall on today too. She's out of Utah. She has an incredible practice. We've had her on the show, and she's going to talk about what Podium has done for her practice and what Podium is, right? I think for the most part, the audience knows what this product is, what it does, but I'm hearing this theme of constant innovation, constant AI, Operator, the EMR that they have, the Avery tool, and I've been at these conferences and I've listened to Shannon speak on stage, and there's a lot of just AI noise out there, right? And so I thought it made sense to say, look, let's have the individual on that's spearheading the AI charge from an ER standpoint, from a patient communication standpoint, and then why not have a user on, somebody that is using the product inside an aesthetics practice. And so Shannon, Cortney, thank you so much. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us, Cam.
We're just talking offline. You guys are in Utah, my home state. I miss it. I know it's hot as hell out there. I'm in Florida recording. It's hot here too, coming off the 4th of July. And so, look, thanks so much for joining. I want to jump right in if that's okay.
Let's do it.
I want to know, Shannon, this is really for you, just to set the stage, right? I want to get the meat out of this episode. There's just a tremendous amount of noise in there around AI and what Podium's doing. And so, first off, what is Podium? Just broadly stroke, what is Podium? Who are you? Where's HQ? What do you guys solve for the aesthetics practices?
Yeah, so high level, we're headquartered out of Utah. So that's where I'm at today, Podium headquarters. And we have been a software company supporting local businesses since 2014. But about 3 years ago, we're coming up on 3 years, which is wild. We made a big bet and decided we're going to go all in on aesthetics. It's a very fast growing industry. It's a fascinating industry. There's a lot of very real problems. There's a lot of money to be made, but only if you have very modern tech. And we just did some research on the industry and realized they are not supported by very modern tech software, and thought, you know what? We know how to build good tech. We could solve problems of speed to lead, for example, and then AI, of course. How can we leverage AI to build AI employees to help them convert leads faster? But the biggest move we made was about a year ago, we launched our AI operating system. And so now, to put it simply, Podium is an EMR. We are a CRM. We are your text and email marketing. We're your phones. We're your texting. It is an all-in-one solution. So everything your EMR has with your memberships, your charts, your forms, your scheduling, inventory management, all of that mixed with lead management and all of your client communication all in one place.
Amazing. I mean, you guys have really scaled this from a feature standpoint rapidly, right? And
Very
you've done a great
rapidly.
job.
Thank
You've done a good job
you.
listening to the audience, right? You've listened to the audience, the practice owner, you shoot all the way down to the patient level and understood the pain points. I think, like, to build on what you're saying is there's a lot of noise in the space. I feel like there's a widget, a gadget, a tool, a Claude this, a Chat GDP that, Gemini, and then you have, like, I feel like it's kind of funny. Everybody that has a tech company now, it's like AI this or our new advanced AI feature, and it's confusion, but also we all know that AI solves. There's a huge need for it, a big demand, and it solves a tremendous amount of client experience issues and everything that comes with aesthetics. So, talk to us more about those features. Like, how do you think about cutting through that noise, for one, and helping practices figure out what actually adds value?
Yeah, definitely. So you nailed it, Cam. Every single tech company that supports aesthetics is claiming they're an AI company at this point, right? Like, we showed up to the medical spa show this last April 2026. And it's so funny. We were so excited to unveil our AI operating system that we had just finished building. And we get there and there's these other EMRs that are also claiming to be an AI operating system. But the reality is there's AI that's cool, but not really valuable, not actually making you money. And our focus at Podium has been, what are the biggest issues in aesthetics? Saturated market was one of them. A lot of competition on every corner. How can we use AI to convert leads fast by building an AI employee that sounds like your best employee, that can reply to every single lead 24/7, 365 days a year, and actually book that appointment and get it on your calendar? That's real value. In addition, we have since, which we will be talking about quite a bit on this podcast, and I can't wait to get into, is we have built an AI assistant that we call Podium Operator today. We're toying around with some other names that we haven't landed on. So for this purpose, we'll just say Podium Operator. But we felt like there was a really important missing piece with, in many cases, these aesthetic practices are run by NPs who maybe don't, with all due respect, know how to run a business, know the KPIs, understand the business side of things. And so we thought, okay, now that Podium is the EMR, the CRM, the phones, the texting, we have this AI employee that sits at the front named Avery who engages with clients. But what if we built an AI assistant on the back end so that these business owners who maybe don't know a lot about what reports they should be pulling or how to read the numbers or how to identify if revenue's down, what if we built an AI assistant that the owner can talk to and ask anything that they want about their business? And this AI operator, this AI assistant, could give them insights into their practice that they may not know how to get or even know what to look for. And so we'll definitely dive in more into that detail, but that's real value. It's an AI assistant on the front end and back end that both make you money, which is the goal.
And
Okay. And saves time.
And saves time. Yeah. Lots of time.
Yeah. So if I was to dive into that more, right? Like, I think if I was to look back at what Podium, let's call it what, first feature. I mean, no, there's reviews, there's text communication, there's phones. You guys have lead management tool. Was the whole reason or the whole intent to create the EMR operating system and then advance that into the operator feature? Was that because you pointed out something that really hit home for me, was booking the appointment, right? It's and I've been in the space for over a decade. For the audience, you guys, long time, probably too long, but I'm still having so much fun. It's a fragmented market. And I think you guys are trying to obviously solve that, where you have multiple pieces of tech trying to run a practice. It's almost like the front facing part of that would hit a wall of trying to communicate with the appointment, like the patient of record appointment. Was that why you guys advanced your value proposition and strengthened the overall platform?
Cam, yes, you actually nailed it. So we had Avery out in the market, and the feedback from our clients was, okay, this is great. She's responding to leads, she's answering questions. But when it came to booking the appointment, all Avery could do was send the scheduling link from the practice's EMR, because they generally have a link that they can send out. And the feedback was, I need Avery to do more. I need her to actually be able to book that appointment where no human has to touch it. And so that was one of the few reasons we had to make a hard decision to build the entire EMR ourselves, is because she was limited in her superpowers without being the scheduler. And we could not, as Podium, go and get all the integrations that we needed with all of the commonly used EMRs. We don't need to dive into that, but we ran into a couple walls there. And so we're like, you know what? We know how to build good tech. So let's just go out and build the whole thing ourselves. And as soon as we started building that, obviously, I don't know how many of you know about Claude, for example, but there's some really cool things you can do with Anthropic's Claude. So similar to OpenAI's ChatGPT. And we thought, wait a minute. Now, if we're everything, if we're the entire system, and we now have insight into every client, every lead, every treatment history, every service they'd shown an interest in them that somebody didn't book appointments for, every detail, I'm talking everything. We could create a really dope assistant on the back end that could help these practices make more money, get better insights about their practice, make strategic decisions, but all with having a front end employee that you can then deploy out to execute on the strategy that the operator just told you to do. And we can talk about specific examples. And I know Cortney's going to share some as well. But yes, it was the impetus of why we created the EMR. And then as soon as we thought, okay, we have every detail about every lead and client, we can now build something really powerful for our clients.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I think it's making me think granularly in the sense of an end user experience. Now, Cortney, I know that you have been using this product for quite some time. I follow you on social media. I see you post about it. You obviously love it. You're a raving fan. You and I have had conversations about it for, I don't know, maybe on and off for a year or so, I think, when you're on the show. Shannon, if I'm hearing you right, you said, look, we already have text communication phones. Makes sense to have two-way text with Avery AI component. We're hitting a roadblock with the booking system. We can send a link, but that's going to a third-party app. If we open that and build that out, now they can see Sally booked an appointment for Botox on Tuesday at 9. Here's the charts. Here's the details. They can now self-book through her. Cortney, what I want to know is walking through the experience from when you started using Avery till now you're using the EMR and Operator, and because you've seen like some of the features unlock, and then
Yep.
I would look at you as like a power user and just using it.
Yeah, all of the features. I think I started when it was just like your leads, and then they added phones. So I've really been along every unveil that they've come up with, and it's been so exciting because it was like we had it where I was so clever and I was doing things manually, and I was like, this is so cool. I can future schedule a text message out to get the lead. And now, like, fast forward, when a lead would come in, like Shannon was saying, it would send a booking link. Well, what I found in our practice is once we actually took that away and we weren't asking the client to do anything, right? We were asking the client to click the link and book. But when you just have a continuous flow of a booking, like you and I are text messaging, and Avery just continues to say, great, I have an appointment open on Tuesday at 2:30 with Candace for your Botox. Does that work? I just naturally say, yes, that's great. And then Avery's prompted to get all the information that I'm asking for, right? Like, can I grab your email to finish your profile, and I'll get that set up and, send you the paperwork or the text to fill out your paper. So it was like a continuous flow. And that first month alone, we saw a 7% increase in conversions. And I think it's because we didn't ask the client to do anything. It was just a very seamless
integrated flow.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay. Is Avery and Operator two different AI agents?
And both amazing. We'll just say that right now.
So there's two. They're not like, you're not renaming Avery to Operator and enhancing. There's two.
Yep, exactly. So Avery is my front. It's front of house.
Okay.
It's client facing per se,
Okay.
right? So she's handling all of the day-to-day text messaging, the bookings, everything that the client is very client facing. Operator, which I put into my phone because I can actually text operator as well. Like she's my best friend. So she is bestie in my phone as well. So I'll just like text. And now I have literally an assistant 24/7. And when this launched, I'll just start by saying before we like kick off everything that it can do, and we won't even get through everything it can do because operator's constantly evolving. I remember texting Shannon and I was like, I actually feel like I have a partner in this. I feel like for the first time, we are going to really scale and move the needle because of just having the data so in front of me all the time. So I'm excited to jump into like specific examples of what that means because this is a disruptor. So when you think like EMR, when I talk to people, the first thing that we typically ask is in my position as like operator or, if you're an injector and an operator and owner is, well, how's the reporting? How many times have we heard that? Like, tell me about the reporting. That's like it's still a useful like comment, but we don't even know what operator can do because it's a disruptor. So we don't even know the right questions to be asking. EMR and reports is like, yeah, there's EMR and reports. Operator, because you have everything into one system, you have it at your fingertips, how useful all of this data can be in the matter of seconds with follow through. So it takes so much time to like get data and reports, and then it takes so much time to do something about it. Now operator is really helping solve that problem.
Yeah, Cam. And if somebody is like, I don't even know what questions to ask, like what should I be looking at in my practice to understand, like what data, what reports should I be pulling? You could literally even ask operator that question. And it would be like, here are some of the insights that you should be, maybe some data points you should be aware of on a weekly basis, a daily basis. Okay, great. Can you share with me what mine are for last week, for last month? It is truly your best friend and AI assistant that can tell you anything about your practice you want to know. Do you want to know why your revenue is down 10% month over month? Ask operator. It will share with you all of the insights around different providers and their utilization rate, their rebooking rate. It's literally, there's no detail it doesn't know now that this assistant lives inside of Podium's AI operating system.
While putting it in like a beautiful PDF, like in a beautiful like PDF or PowerPoint, however you want it, it also creates like a very visual for us to see.
Yeah, so you don't
very visual.
Okay, so you can text it, ask it to pull, hey, I want to know exactly what my maybe blended utilization rate is, or look, I want it broken down per provider, and maybe revenue per hour, utilization rate, like whatever KPIs you want to track. It will create a PDF report, is what you're saying, and it will send it to you. Okay.
Oh, easy. That's like one. So another one that I use monthly is put together, and I have this actually automated. So you can also schedule them out to hit the first of every month, let's say, for example. So mine are automatically like planned now, but it creates all of my one-on-ones for the month, for the prior month. And it highlights these things per provider, things that I couldn't have my eyes on all of the time. But now that everything's in one area, like for example, one that I thought was so cool is it put together all the KPIs, like what you just said, utilization, revenue, all of that. But one really cool thing is it said, and this one was Laurie, one of our estheticians. She reached out to so-and-so that canceled to get her rescheduled. It showed me the text message that she sent and said, and she rescheduled because Laurie reached out. This is like an excellent team member or great performer. It let me highlight that in my one-on-one. And wow. Laurie just kept like taking pictures. She's like, this is so cool. Like, I wouldn't have seen that, but it was such like a deposit in her one-on-one to be like, we see you along with, you also got 3 Google reviews and this is what they said. And it pulled all of that. Like it's just
highlighted that provider is what you're saying.
Absolutely. Yep.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, you made another comment that you said operator is saved in your phone as your bestie. Like literally in your phone, it's a logged contact.
Yeah, so I can just text it, pull up my bestie, and I'm like, I'll be at a stoplight. So the biggest aha was when I first got access to it. I was like, okay, I was at a stoplight and I was like, how many people, what's our rebooking rate and who didn't reschedule? And
Okay.
so within seconds, operator pulls it up. This is who didn't reschedule. Would you like me to draft a follow-up message to get them rescheduled? And I was like,
Yeah.
yes. Literally, all just went out while I was at the stoplight, and everyone got a text message. Hi, this is True Medical Spa. Would you like to get the?
Yeah.
I was like,
Okay.
okay, well, that would have taken me forever if I even got to it, right? Like,
Well, and the thing is like you're driving, you're always thinking about the business. You're always like, I've had business partners, and the amount of communication you have with that business partner, it's like, dude, I talk to my business partner more than my wife. And it's because there's just so much taking place. And so I think to what you're saying is probably why you logged her as bestie is you could actually, she has a partner, you text her and she just gets it done. And there is no back and forth. Okay, I'll wait till I get to the practice. Let me get my Starbucks first. Oh yeah, by the way, did you want that sent today or tomorrow or when? It just does it.
yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, absolutely. And there's people text me randomly, like to get scheduled for an appointment, just like my personal like phone, right? And then I'll just take the message, open up my phone, talking to my bestie operator, and be like, can you schedule so-and-so an appointment for Tuesday at 2:30 with Candace for Botox? And then done. And I'm all, thank you.
Shannon, does Avery talk to operator? Like how, I mean, they have to, I would assume, but are they having conversations that you can monitor, you can review, or how is that? Because I know there's AI agents out there, but I haven't seen them talk to each other yet.
Yeah. So operators giving you all the detail that Cortney said. Operators, I want to say he. I like that you said she, Court. She drafts up the messages. She gives.
Girl.
I know. How dare I?
Like a queen.
It's got to be. You got to put a flair on it. Operator, something like that.
Operator. So Operator, the AI assistant behind the scenes, is the data insights, the recommendations to the owner. She will draft up a message, but at that point, when it's time to send out the text and engage with clients or leads, that's when Operator passes it over to Avery, and then Avery is the brains. Avery has all the context of like information about treatments, new member discounts, cancellation rates. Like she's the one who has all the information about all the treatment services and details about the practice that she communicates out with leads and clients.
Interesting. Okay.
And your team. Oh, one that goes out daily for me that goes to every provider during their actually scheduled shift. So if you're working today, this morning, you got a text message that broke down your entire day of who's on your books. But not only that, areas to enhance their appointment or upsell, upgrade of what they haven't had. She's coming for Botox, but she's never got filler. Talk to her about filler. She's not a member, mention memberships. Make sure you rebook her. Like it gives them a whole game plan. So it's just always in front of them every day. That's what we used to do. Like it's still important to do huddles or like obviously communicate with your team, but that's just like information they're getting before they even come into work. So
that's like their daily download, daily digest that they could get.
Yep, it's just a text. It looks like it came from me. Operator was the brains behind it.
Okay. And it basically builds them a roadmap and a model for the day in order for them to have success.
All while I'm drinking coffee at home. Isn't that beautiful?
I see it through Instagram. You're always doing something, always having fun.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I love that. It's, I think it's extremely efficient, right? And I want, just for the audience, the manual amount of effort that this would take, let's call it pre-operator, pre-Avery, the amount of time, the amount of information lost in delegation, like the amount of information just through translation, through text and email. And, when people maybe just don't get the job done, right? Like, do you have an estimate, like just how much time it's saving you from the practice level? I mean, I'm just curious. It has to save you guys a tremendous amount of time. It probably even builds like great culture and morale within the practice.
Yeah, and it's not only time, it's that things are actually getting done. I can't tell you how many times I say that I need to go and pull this report and I need to have my one-on-ones or pull up all the information for my one-on-ones, but you're pulled in these million different directions every day. I think that I've used my time a lot more efficient because this is just
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cam, the clients that I've spoken to, the practices that are using Podium Operator, I hear time savings all across the board, like 8 hours a week, 10 hours a week. But what I hear more often than anything is I wasn't even doing these things. So it's like it's what Court said. It's not time savings. It's stuff that wasn't even being done that now it allows them to do so much more to increase revenue and figure out where the gaps are. And it's stuff that you just don't do because you don't have time.
You don't have time. I mean, look, I can build on that with you too, because I have worked with practices, as you know, for years, and I've gotten more intimate with a few of them. Obviously, doing a ton of things over at TRC with Terry Ross too. And so I have now, in the past year, 15 months, I've got my hands inside of practices from an operator standpoint. I think that's kind of cliche. But I have come to the full conclusion that a robust medical aesthetics and wellness practice needs to have an operator inside their practice, right? Because you can have a provider-owned practice that is always seeing patients, always seeing them, 10, 20, 15 a day, whatever it is. Like, that's a demanding day. And then you may have another provider and maybe a follow-up, and they're also high producers as well, and you want to keep them happy and keep compensation right for them, and they're seeing patients, and they're focused on making money and delivering patient results. By the end of the day, look, we have families, we have kids, we want to go home. Like, that's a long day, right? And so I've had this reality that, oh my gosh, every practice does need an operator, somebody that I can actually work the business every single day, find inefficiencies, evaluate tech, evaluate gap, what KPIs should we be tracking, what compensation models should we be building out. And what I'm hearing is there's a way that you can inject operator, your tool, directly into a practice that becomes the operator. And I think actually now that we are having this dialogue, the name is growing on me.
I love it. I've got Cam's approval.
It makes sense, because they're able to find those inefficiencies, give a playbook, a roadmap, a digest, probably a weekly dialogue, a monthly download. But I guess to build on that, the providers really struggle with what to ask. Like, cool, we have a list of reports and dashboards inside all the other EMRs. What am I really looking at? Am I pulling it to just pay commissions? Why am I looking at it? What does it mean? How do I know what to ask? So is there any limitations on reports or numbers inside Podium, or is it just
Found so far?
yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, people are asking it things like, why was my revenue down last week? Pull Botox clients who haven't been into our practice for the last 90 days. Which providers of mine are underperforming and why? Maybe you need operator to upload something in inventory for you because you can't figure out where to do it in the EMR. And that's the other thing I'll say, Cam, like how many practices maybe have a better EMR than they think, but they don't know how to use it because it's so complex and confusing and they don't know where to go to find stuff because software is not their background. With Operator, you can ask it for Podium's AI operating system, where anything is or how to do anything or help me set up this automation. You don't have to try to figure out how to navigate around the platform. It will tell you exactly where to go and what to do.
Does it also, when it tells you what to look for, does it have a why behind it and maybe potentially how to fix it? Does it give you like KPIs or some sort of training mechanism on top of it? Like, hey, let me just set the stage here. You have 3 providers, and I'm in Utah. Let's use Utah. I want all of my providers to be above $1,000 an hour from an RPH standpoint, and I want their utilization rate to be above 80%. Is there can you peg against a benchmark or a goal, or is that baked out, or is that on the roadmap, or where's that?
Court,
I was like,
do you need me to answer that?
No, I'm going to say yes, because I've played with similar things that you're asking. And think of it just like a partner is going to ask you the questions. It's a conversation that you're now having with it, but it has all of the data saying, well, based off of this data, this is what I see is missing. And this is where I would work with. Like even recommended like me getting out into the community and doing like team up with people in your community for X, Y, and Z. Like it really helps me be like, okay, yeah, that is actually a really good idea based off of like what we're trending. And so if you were asking that specific question, it's going to just dive into the data, see what the myth is like. Yeah, you had a provider that's only doing Botox and she only did 2 fillers. She had 50 Botox appointments and 1 filler. That is an X amount gap of how much revenue she could be bringing in per hour, which would solve if you were doing more filler. Obviously, your revenue per hour is higher, your utilization's higher. But yeah, it will work with you like that. I mean, it's pretty mind blowing. I think that the question, sorry, Shan, to ask is like to Podium is show me what it can do. Because I kept saying the wrong question, like, does it have X, Y, and Z report? Because I kind of have like a fixed mindset of what I know in the industry to ask for the last 15 years. We've been asking the same type of thing. And now it's like, that's the wrong question to ask. It's like, show me what it can do, because
there's nothing like it on the market. So you just don't understand really its full capability. Yeah. And Cam, that's what's so special about Operator is it's not just data insights. It can do all of that. But I love all the examples Court has sent me just showing, okay, it pulled the data, but then it gave recommendations. And to her point, it's your partner in strategy. Like you guys are in it together. It gives suggestions. If you don't like that, you could ask it to think of another idea for you. Like, and then if it's ever involving communicating with a client to try to increase your bookings, that's where Operator partners with Avery and they'll send out those text messages within seconds. So that's what's special about it. It's not just data insights, but it's execution and follow through.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm glad that you brought that up. Sorry, Cortney, I was just going to say like an example, right? Let's just say you are spending 10% of your revenue on marketing, okay, ads, which let's just say you're $1 million practice, 100K a year. It's a big, check that you're writing every month to, Meta, Facebook, whatever. And you're not converting every single lead, right? We don't convert. But I think my question is I'm assuming the answer is yes, but you could probably take all those leads that you didn't book and say, hey, Operator, for all the leads that we didn't book in June, create a text, fire them out, and maybe put a nice little discount on it or whatever you want to come up with, whatever content, and it will fulfill that objective to your execution point.
Exactly. Yep. And the great thing about that is Avery was already working those leads for us in the first place, right? So the second that lead came in, Avery's the client facing. So she's already like texting him within 5 minutes. I do a follow-up the next day and the following day, plus we're doing a phone call to get him in. Like we do probably like 4 or 5 touch points. So now if those go dead, absolutely, that's where Operator takes over. So pull the leads that came in. Not only will it just pull your leads, do you know how many spam leads we get? I mean, I'm sure you're very aware, like how many. It'll filter through and be like, this one was spam, so we're not going to text them. I'm like, this is why you're my best friend in my phone, right? Like, I don't have dumb best friends.
Here's something I want to say.
Yes.
I want to say something about marketing. There's just so many ideas, you guys. So if you think about when Podium got into text marketing, we created tags. And that was a very manual process where you could tag a lead or a client, anything. You could tag it as interested in BBL Moxie, whatever it is, so that when you send out a bulk text marketing campaign, you can send it very strategically to the folks that showed an interest. The problem with that, and we realize this, is that requires a lot of manual work that is time consuming. And if it even happens, because your front desk isn't always going to be on top of creating tags for every single lead, right? But with Operator, you could literally say, hey, I want to do a special on BBL Moxie. Pull me a list of anyone we've had a conversation with around BBL Moxie that never booked, or maybe you want it to be inclusive of people that booked, but they only got one treatment. They only had one session done. And then craft me the message that you want to send out. Like, you no longer have some of these, what once were manual processes with Operator. It can sift through every text conversation, phone conversation. We've even got AI charting now, which means AI is listening in on the consultation. So it's got conversation information from that as well. There's nothing the Operator doesn't have insight into or know. So it can execute on things like that from a marketing perspective.
I want to talk about charting, because that's a big one right there. Is I'm not a provider. I have a ton of respect for providers, the artistry and all the amazing things that they do for the industry and human beings in general, building confidence. But I always hear that charting can be painful. And if you have a provider that's like back-to-back appointments, it's like they're trying to do as fast as they can, or they just like wait till the end of the day and do it all at once, right? How does the charting flow and make it just seamless? Is it listening to you, or?
Yeah, so there's options. You can have our AR charting turned on, where it's just, you make it part of the consent form that the consultation or the appointment's going to be recorded. So you have your permission, right? Because you want to make sure that people know that it's being recorded if you are going to use it. So you have that you can just have it listen and then fill out the form, all the little bits of information for you. Some providers still are not on that. They're not comfortable with that, and they like to do it more manually, and that's totally fine as well. But that process, even in itself, Court, I know that you're not using the charts yourself. I don't know if you've heard from your providers, but we try to make that flow as seamless as possible so that if you aren't using AI charting, it's still a very easy flow.
I'd have a little thing on my like clip on, you've seen those little things on your shirt, and I would just have it right there and have it pushed directly in, is what I would do as a provider, because I think that would be just tedious work I wouldn't want to do later.
You can just hit record right from your phone. I think the mobile one's coming soon, and you can just hit record and it will take it and filter it into a chart. So it's making it really, really easy. And I think on that, charting, of course, is very important. I get to see everything if I don't have MD sign off, if someone hasn't finished a chart, like all of that is right in my face all of the time now. So we're like pretty buckled down on everything being finished by the end of the day, right? And signed off on. And I think the EMR, it always is like, what EMR do you use? And we're trying to like find the best EMR. And I think EMR is just a data thing now. I just want somewhere to hold my data, book an appointment, chart. That's fine. I need it because I need Operator. Like Operator is my new like gold standard. Like EMR, whatever. I've used a billion of them at this point. And migrating over, everyone's like, oh, the migration, it's not fun migrating from EMR to a little bit different technology into another EMR. Maybe they have like one more thing that you like versus the one you're at. Migrating to be able to get all my data in my fingertips and have a business partner. I was like, after I heard what was coming, I'm like, let's go. The quicker I get my data over and Operator launches, I needed to have all of the data to start doing these reports. That was the game changer for me.
Yeah, Cam, our entire purpose of like AIOS, our AI operating system, it is supposed to make you money. We wanted to be, yes, we say EMR because people understand what that means. It means scheduling, charting, forms, memberships, all of that. But we really tried to stay away from saying EMR because that is what Cortney said. It's data storage. An AI operating system makes you money, and everything we build is to help make you more money and make you more competitive and convert leads faster and just give you longevity and health in your practice.
It's a good point. And I think like migrating tech or EMR that we've used that term for so long. It's like, it's the last thing we want to do. It's especially for people that have migrated and then in 3 months realize they made the wrong decision. I've seen that, and then have to, like, it's a culture pain point. When do you have time to do it? To bring in the charts over the migration, it's a pain in the butt, right? So it sounds like you guys have worked tirelessly to make that quite seamless. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. We launched this in December, January, our AI operating system, and we were quite humbled in the migration process. We were like, okay, because we had aspirations. We're like, we're going to migrate people over in 48 hours. That was like what our CEO was like. We got to get to 48-hour migration, which usually with EMRs, for those of you that have transferred, you probably are used to months, right? Well, today we're at 45 days worst case, 30 days best case. We still have aspirations to get to 48 hours leveraging AI, but we've actually been having some really big breakthroughs in using operators technology to help migrate data from EMR over to our AI operating system. So that's helped us speed things up and the accuracy tremendously. So for anyone who attempted to migrate over January through like April of this year, my sincerest apologies. We have come such a long way and we're in a much better place now with migrating.
Yeah, I remember when you said that, and I was like, look, I love the admiration. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I think like you made a good point. If you can get the operator to almost like hook into the current EMR and then just extract the data and build the rails to pull it all over. I'm sure, you guys have the engineers and the talent and the, all the team over there to get it done. But I think that that's a way you could do it. As we continue to just go through this, we've talked about some examples. Is there anything that we're missing, right? Is there anything that operator, it seems like it can do everything for you. Like e-commerce, are you guys thinking in that regard, wellness? Like wellness is, moving in big time into things, right? Yeah.
You know what is
Membership
coming?
models, right?
Obviously, they have e-prescribe. Lab integrations is coming. The one that I am really excited about is good faith exam integration. I think that one, as far as staying compliant, is going to be a really, really great one that's coming. I actually saw it pop up and I text one of their engineers. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. He's like, how did you see that already? That was just like 1 second we had it on there. And I'm like, I see you, I'm watching you. But those are on the wellness type side as far as prescribing everything that are coming, and they're diving even more. Before Shannon takes this question too, I just want to say anything that I have been like, what about this? What about this? They've done it even better and quickly. Like Podium's moving so fast. So if I didn't see something last week, every week I see another email come out that this is being launched, and it's like, oh my gosh. And there's some things that I'm like, that's such a great idea. So it just keeps getting smarter and smarter, and they are not stopping. And I'm here for it. I love it.
Yeah. Kim, I have to say, people might be thinking, why doesn't every EMR just leverage AI and build things faster? Because we hear all the time, like they'll put in a request for a feature and they have to wait like a year, 2 years, and even then maybe don't get that feature built. And one thing, it doesn't hurt that we have money. I'll just say that. We've raised $450 million. So we have money and that helps. We also have the resources. We have about 250 engineers that work at Podium. So that doesn't hurt. But what's interesting about Podium, and where I think there's a big differentiator in Podium versus other EMR companies, is for 14 years, Podium was a luxury add-on that we felt like was necessary for a practice, or a local business, but maybe they didn't. It was like, oh yeah, that was really cool. It was nice to have their texting, but they're kind of expensive. So we'll just cancel that and we'll save money and get a different texting platform or whatever. So Podium's always been in the mindset of, we need to be customer obsessed. We need to listen to our customers. We need to offer customer success where you can actually talk to somebody, you can text them, you can schedule a meeting with them, you can get support, you can put in a recommendation for a product feature and actually have it built. Like we have always operated like we had to work so hard to keep every customer because we weren't a absolute must have to run your business. We were a luxury add-on. So I think that's the big difference with Podium is we're still operating with that mindset that we have to win their business year over year, or they're just going to cancel. And now we finally feel like, maybe it's a little arrogant, but I can't think of a single practice that shouldn't move over to Podium at this point. Like there's nothing that another EMR can do that we can't do. And to Court's point, we're just going to keep growing. Like I think about AI and it's really cool today what Operator can do, but like in our minds, we want to level up even more. We want Operator to be able to monitor your inventory and be able to go out and place orders for you. So a human doesn't even need to do any of that. So it's things like that. Like, how can we save you even more time? Like, we want to get to a place where there is no task that is considered a task that a human has to do so that everyone in that practice can do nothing but human connection, build relationships, and keep your clients coming back because they feel like part of your family and they trust you.
That's amazing. I mean, you guys are building something, that the industry is desperate for. From a provider standpoint, just warehousing all the data under one rooftop, to build on the conversation on the wellness side. I see every practice I talk to, I come from legacy aesthetics, I guess is the new tagline I'm using these days. I feel like I come up with all these interesting names. But legacy aesthetics, what I mean by that is like traditional Botox, traditional filler, obviously sculpture, all these other amazing techniques and treatments have obviously come full force. But this new wellness peptides, GLP, is very attractive space. It's all over the internet. There's big events that's taking place in July from the FDA. All these category 2 drugs are now being moved to category 1. You can get them from all these different pharmacies. And that's also creates a whole other friction point. I know companies out there, aesthetics practices that are using 2 EMRs because one was built for legacy aesthetics. Well, yeah, but it doesn't have the ability to have adequate memberships. It doesn't have the ability to connect to a portal where I can order from the pharmacy and have that charts and have all of the prescription data stored in warehouse inside the operating system or the EMR, while at the same time book an appointment on the other side. And so it's I've seen it like it's all exciting and great and everybody wants to get on the revenue train and obviously deliver a great patient result, but it also creates this huge issue of tech and how do you deliver that experience? Because like, look, and Cortney, I'm not sure how much wellness you guys do at your practice, but if somebody wants to get their labs drawn, they got to go to some place and get their labs drawn. And how do you bring that into the EMR? And then how do you create a membership profile around maybe access to care? And then they want to order prescriptions. And then you want to add a protocol to it, a whole on treatment plan, right? Mm-hmm. That reminds them, hey, your prescription's probably getting low. And so it's those things where it's like, I think it's the first time I've ever seen to where science is almost like outpacing the tech and like the tech is scrambling to keep up with it, And so I think the only way to solve it, I think, is with AI. I don't know any other way.
No. Yeah. And wellness is top of our mind right now. We know where the growth is in aesthetics. And so like Court mentioned earlier, lab integrations is coming in August. We actually we're supposed to have launched it a month ago, ran into a little road bump. So we switched providers. And so we're going to be going with a different company, but that will be coming. And then Cam, you mentioned treatment plans. This is where huge revenue growth happens, right? But here's the thing. You put somebody on a treatment plan, who's managing that treatment plan? Who's following up to make sure that person's actually executing on the 6 things that are part of this treatment plan on an annual basis? For example, that's where Operator comes in. Podium builds treatment plans. Operator has access to treatment plans. You tell Operator, I want you to follow up with anyone who is not booked for their next appointment as part of their treatment plan 60 days before that appointment's supposed to happen. Ideally, they're rebooking when they check out, but sometimes that doesn't happen for various reasons. Or maybe they book, but then they have to cancel and they got to check with their spouse on a new time and then it slips through the cracks. Operator will manage all of that for you. So like that's also a future thing coming. Treatment plans should be here end of August, beginning of September. And once that's built in the AI operating system, again, Operator will be able to execute on that in partnership with Avery, the AI employee that communicates directly with the patient.
Even that with that not being like launched until August, when people check out that maybe got pelleted for hormones, Operator knows to send them a follow-up. Like, this is what to do after, and then follows up, hey, how are you feeling? Like kind of a cadence. I've put that into them, into Operator, but it's doing it. So
can you have it like templatized, for example? Like, let's say, hey, I want to build a treatment plan for this particular service and treatment, or a 12-month one because they have these conditions. I mean, my brain's just starting to go right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
And I've templatized it, so like pick that one, or does it become smart enough, right, to know? It's like, well, we already know, like based upon all the prompts you put in, that this is what you want to have happen. So does it just come doing the job for you?
The thing I like about Operator today
Basically going
is
on vacation and Operators taking over.
More vacations.
no, I like that Operator is very collaborative, because I don't know that anyone at this point would just want to send Operator off with no interaction and it's just could go rogue, right? I love that it always asks, what do you think about this? Do you want me to do this? Okay, now I've drafted this. Do you like this? Do you want to make any edits? It's interactive so that you feel safe to know it's still AI. So you still want to like spot check it, but that's what's cool about Operators. It's your partner. She is not just going out and doing stuff rogue. You're still engaging with it, which is nice.
In August, you'll be able to put like a personalized treatment plan together through Podium, right? Is that what you're saying?
Side and the aesthetic side. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. And Cam, you brought up something important too. So we all know with certain PHI information, having a portal where folks can like log in and check results and things that are private information, right? We are building an app and a portal so that your clients will be able to have sign-in information and they can go in and get that information. We don't have that today. So that's another component on the wellness side that we need to build.
There's so much compliance on the wellness side that I've just learned in the past, I would say 3 months more than ever. In fact, I had a gal on recently. She went through that whole Quad A experience. Have you heard of Quad A? It's a whole compliance thing. They've been around since the 80s. Apparently, we're in plastic surgery. I actually had the CEO on yesterday. I think the episode comes out tomorrow. And his thesis and I agree with him. I think like we are maturing as an industry big time, and we're going like compliance is going to be very important. I think it also helps with your enterprise value, how you differentiate in the future, like and what type of credentials you have beyond just what you have as a provider. I think as a practice overall, and I think there's a lot of value from what AI can do, an operator can do. To your point of the portal, and making charting simplistic and easy, right? And keeping everybody consolidated. I think it only just builds and helps you actually become more compliant, right? I think people are afraid of the AI, maybe going rogue, like you said, but I think it in reality should make you more compliant.
It's more accurate, it's more consistent. And what's nice about at Podium, we have a full side of the business that's just aesthetics. So it's our job to understand what all the legal compliance guidelines are and keep our practices safe from that. And we've been used to that since the beginning, because with texting for a business, there's TCPA regulations and 10 DLC that you have to get registered in if you're going to text market out and bulk messaging. So that's what's nice is because aesthetics is a core focus for our company, we stay ahead of all of that and understand what all the legal compliance is, and we make sure that our tech is supporting that and keeping our clients safe and compliant.
Amazing. Yeah, you guys have been in that game for a long time, so I don't know if there's anybody out there that understands it more than you. Well, look, I've enjoyed the conversation. It's really incredible what you're building. I want to have you on. I feel like there's more coming, and I want to see labs. And I think you did launch ePrescribe. That's live now, right?
It's live. Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. So now you can order your scripts right inside your operating system, old EMR, new operating system from Operator. Maybe eventually she'll be able to just order the scripts. Who knows? She can become the provider. I don't know. But the sky, well, look, we can, if AI can do it, who knows what we'll be doing in the future.
I know.
No, super powerful conversation. You guys are obviously doing incredible things, and really helping the community and industry come full circle. And at the end of the day, the patient wins, right? And the practice and provider is a byproduct of them winning, which I think builds on the entire value proposition of where we're trying to strengthen the industry. So thank you so much for coming on. Shannon, it's always a pleasure. Cortney, always a pleasure. I'll leave it at that. I think there is a link in, I think that you guys have some sort of custom link if they tune in or get a demo from you. I can put it in the show notes and then put it on YouTube as well. So if you guys want to go through that, I think they have a little token of appreciation as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cam, I'm going to actually tell everyone to grab their phone. I want to give out my cell phone number, and you can literally just text me demo, and I will help coordinate that for you. So I always do this on podcasts, and I love hearing from people. So this is not a false offer. Like, please take me up on it. So my number is 801-979-8096. And even if you just have further questions about the platform, you're like, hey, I don't want a demo yet, but I just need to know X, Y, or Z. These are important features for me. Feel free to text me, call me. I'm a text girly, but give me a call if you prefer that. But if you just want to see a demo, just text demo. And again, it's 801-979-8096. And thanks again for having us on, Cam, and for always staying ahead of all the trends in the industry and having relevant guests on to add value to your community. I think it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And Cortney, if they want to connect with you from a provider, owner, operator, COO standpoint, where's the best place for them to reach out to you?
I have a lot of people just reach out on Instagram. So you can always DM me. It's The Broken Stiletto is the handle.
Perfect. Guys, go follow her, check her out. She's got great content out there, has a thriving practice. Shannon, thank you so much for sharing that. Go text her demo. And you guys go check out the platform. I mean, it doesn't hurt to just look under the hood. You might as well. I think AI is going to be, where we want to be in the future. And I think if you're not taking the time to learn, invest, and understand what it is, my sense is you'll be falling behind. So I'll leave it at that, guys. Until next time, happy injecting.
Bye, y'all.
See ya.